Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
Heck yeah.
This is exciting because we're doing an episode about something that we're about to do, which just makes it kind of like very meta.
Exactly. I mean, well, we're going to be going to the one and only Squonkapalooza in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, which is the festival, for those that don't know, about one of our favorite cryptids, the squonk.
Just so everybody knows, it's on August 10th. It's Saturday, August 10th. The entire Eerie Travels crew will be there, which we don't have a huge amount of sightings of the entire crew, but it will be, of course, me, Mark, Carrie, and Beau will be there as well. So,
yes.
When you get these, you should take advantage, travelers, of these impromptu moments to meet the entire crew. And we will be speaking at, I think it's 4 or 4:30 p.m.
No, right? They've moved us to 11-ish, or okay. Yeah, we're going to be before the lunch break, before the movie break. They're showing E.T. for the younger kids in the park. So we get the center right before they do that. Our good friends, Cryptids of the Corn, start off the day.
Which will be amazing. So I guess, you know what? Come enjoy the entire day. There's going to be good food, amazing vendors, amazing speakers. Like, it's, if you love cryptids, you're going to see, it's not just squonk, you're going to see everything you can imagine there. Oh, yeah. And plus we'll be there, which just makes it even better.
Yep. We are super excited to be part of this. We always have fun doing these festivals, and this one apparently was a huge hit last year, so equally excited to see it this year. And I am definitely interested to see all of our fans and travelers who want to come see a fun festival that's not Mothman.
Yeah, exactly. A fun festival, and you can come argue with me about the vampire thing.
Exactly. I think Stacey Brown's got a bullseye on you.
Oh, he does. That's why I'm avoiding some Bigfoot conferences, because you know how it is with Stacey. Me, Stacey, epic battle. It's fine. I love him. Okay, and then another thing we should talk about, because I think it's out and about, is signing up to join us actually on a Bigfoot hunt. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk Stacey into joining us there. And that is in November, right?
November, North Carolina Bigfoot Adventures. They've hosted RPG and Brian Clark and a few other noted Bigfoot hunters in the past. And now they want us to come out there. And this is an amazing chance to get to spend the night in the woods of Western North Carolina. We're just going to lead you out there and walk away, and then we'll come back in the morning and see if you live. No, it's actually an amazing.
Tell them my secret plan, Mark.
I always joked 1 year at Hellview we were going to do the Blair Witch Experience, and we were just going to give everybody flashlights and just let them walk into the woods. And
hey, that would scare the crap out of people. So, but yeah, we're going to do storytelling. I'm hoping there's s'mores. If not, I'm bringing
and it's going to be, we are going to have some classes on how to go Bigfoot hunting. We are still in talks with who else is going to be joining us that night. But we might have some special guests that show up for a little bit too. That, oh man, it's just going to be too much fun. And that is November 9th.
I think into the 10th. Yeah. And so we'll post the link to the website in the show notes, so you can go sign up. I will say this is a limited quantity thing because they can't have several hundred people there. So
it is a campground. You bring your own camping materials. They do have some camping spaces available with a little more facilities that they have their own tents and stuff, but you do have to reserve those ahead of time. So
so if you want to join us, if you want to learn how to do things, please absolutely make sure you reach out and get signed up, because we would love to celebrate with our travelers. That should be
Carol
really
and the team there are amazing, and we are excited to be part of it. So
yes.
This will be right after Halloween, so you'll get to keep your spooky on a few extra days. So it'll be fun.
Yes, I'm excited. But
and those fall colors are spectacular. But back to the task at hand. We are heading on the road to Squonkapalooza. So I decided we needed to discuss. Now, at the festival, we're going to be discussing some obscure cryptids there. But on the way there, I thought we should talk about the ones that are known, or they're still lesser known. I mean, the Squonk's not exactly like a household word like Mothman or Flatwoods Monster or the Fresno Nightcrawlers or Jersey Devil. But what's fun is Jersey Devil is actually pretty close to there and has been known to stray into Pennsylvania. And I don't remember if we've done too much on Jersey Devil, but I figure I'd just do a quick refresher on him.
Okay.
He's a flying monster that was born in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, and has been known to fly into the Appalachian area of Pennsylvania. Mostly it was spotted in 1909 in Williamsport, and then again in Lock Haven. And in January 28th, 1909, the Clinton Democrat, which is a wonderful newspaper, reported that the footprints appear in the snow in the rear yard of a West 4th Street residence, first on one side of the tennis net and then the other. It is reported that the same mysterious tracks were discovered on the golf links north of the city. So these are hoof prints. A few days later, the Lock Haven Express reports that he'd been spotted on a roof of a Grove Street house by resident Charles Poorman, who later said he went up a ladder to check the tracks and he found the hoof tracks on his roof. And there were several other reports of people seeing the creature that had sent terror into the hearts of New Jersey, but he was now in Pennsylvania. Now, this is also known as the Leeds Devil because the legend goes that Mother Leeds, she had had 12 children and was having a 13th, and she didn't want it. So she said, let the devil have this one. And so what happens is the baby comes out, and it is a demon with horse head, horns, dragon wings, forked tongue, spiked tail, and hooves, and the claws of like a raptor, a velociraptor. And what does it do after it's born? It yeets out the chimney. It just goes whoop, and then it terrorizes the countryside for hundreds of years. So,
like you do.
So Jersey Devil, pretty well-known creature, but hangs out in New Jersey. So we'll keep our eyes open for that one. Now,
Mark, I have a question.
You have a question, Beau.
So the one where it is on the guy's roof and he sees hoof prints, is he sure it's not Santa Claus?
Okay, I have the exact same question, Beau, and I'm so glad you asked it because I was like, was there bell ringing right before that happened? Because I just feel like the pitter patter of little claws on the thing. Anyway, yes.
Does Santa have bat wings and a forked tail?
Sometimes, I think.
But Krampus does. Yeah. So there has been some thought that this might have been a Krampus sighting and not a Jersey Devil sighting.
I'm going to just throw that out that I'm in agreement that is the case.
Okay. All right. So
I'm voting, although I do love the New Jersey Devil, so I'm not going to lie. I love that. Yeah. I love the mystery around it. I know, Val, one of our podcast friends, is a huge fan of the New Jersey Devil. I'm just saying that there is a small chance that we have a little Krampus mix in here. Krampus.
I will say this about Jersey Devil is no state has an official devil except New Jersey. So,
well, I guess, yes. Cool.
Yep.
What?
Many other cryptids can say they are the official state anything. So there you go.
Yes. No, that's amazing.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Clinton County, Pennsylvania. And it, though, has an official monster. It's a county monster. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
It's another one of those that has one of those names. It's wow. It's a wow name. All right. So let me describe it first. We'll see if we can come up with the name.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you the name, and you're going to be very mad. Now, it's from rural areas, and this was the Keystone Folklore Quarterly in 1956 wrote about it. And it's a werewolf-like creature, has the hands of a bird and the feet of a horse. Now, it sounds exactly like Jersey Devil there. But According to legend, it could be conjured by the local witches, and it was seen around Clinton and Clearfield counties. Now, it was more described as looking like a giant werewolf, right? Except with the bird hands, so the claw hands. So imagine our Jersey Devil without the wings and without the forked tail, but with the hoof feet, the wolf-like head with large canines, red eyes, and about 8 foot tall. Now, it sounds a lot like our Dogman sightings, right? A little bit.
Yeah, I feel there's a but, so I'm trying to not get myself.
Let's come up with some names here. So, Erika, what would you call it?
I would call it Sam.
Okay.
No, just kidding. That's not what I would call it. Okay, so where is this? Where was it?
This is in Clinton County.
I would call it the Beast of Clinton County.
There you go. I like that one. Beau, do you have an idea?
I would call it the Clinton County Bird Dog.
Okay. Bird Dog works. Bird Dog works. You ready?
No.
It's called the Geewoggle.
Oh my God.
What the hell? Who the hell named that crap?
I want to know the etymology of that.
Yeah, no, we're going to need that. We're going to need that right now, Mark.
Yep, the Geewoggle, Giwoggle, and I have heard it also pronounced the G-Woggle, but it's the Geewoggle or the Guy Woggle. I've heard it that too. So, considering it's only in one little county in Pennsylvania, but it is the official monster of Clinton County, Pennsylvania.
Who named this?
That's from that Keystone Folklore Quarterly.
Was it a child? Did a 5-year-old?
I think you can blame it on George Rohn, who wrote that book. So,
oh my God!
yeah.
That is dumb.
I thought you'd like that one.
Can we? When we're gonna add it to our book, there, travelers, and we're gonna call it the monster formerly known as blah.
As the
very much
Geewoggle.
like Prince. We're going to change its name.
I don't think you can make the Geewoggle boogie like you can do the Barden Booger boogie. So, you need something that the Geewoggle Waggle maybe might be a song that might work. I think it sounds like something out of Fraggle Rock, right? The Geewoggle lurks in one of the caves. It's definitely Henson. It's definitely Jim Henson related. So,
oh my God, yes, it is.
Okay. Dr. Seuss. There's also a little bit of Seuss vibes in there.
A little bit. Now, one of the monsters in this area we've discussed before, and we discuss it a lot, and that is Bigfoot, right? Bigfoot is in this area, over this
area. Every area. I've decided Bigfoot lives everywhere.
Well, I think they march up and down the Appalachian corridor because there's not a lot of development in a lot of places that they could get through.
Well, and first of all, they're not tiny. Mm-hmm. They're going to roam. And also, I could see them moving with seasons. Like, it gets cold, move.
Now, we had a sighting from February of 2023 reported. So really? Just last year, and this is in the Beach Creek area, also in Clinton County. And they described it as huge, maybe 10 foot tall, and said, I saw its dark silhouette. It took 2 steps and I was shocked. It was huge. I was like all panicking. And this is from Sonia Rodriguez. She said that was it. She ran.
So, as she should.
Yep, exactly. Now, it is multiple sightings in Bald Eagle State Park up there. Rumor has it enjoys the state parks as well as we do. But this is a large, dark creature. This one's got the no neck. So it's like the head to the shoulders, almost like a triangle, where the head kind of blends into the shoulders. And these were the golden-eyed ones. So not the red-eyed branch. These tend to be a little more friendly, according to most witnesses and stuff like that. There's a story.
Okay, wait. I got to stop you.
Yeah.
What did the witnesses have tea with them or something? Like, Like, how did it come up with it's more friendly?
That goes to an old the native lore is that the ones with the brown eyes and the golden eyes tended to trade and be willing to almost talk,
Okay.
or sometimes did talk. Some of them learned language and would trade with them. The wild men and the mountain men and the old man of the mountains and the wise man of the mountains, and they would give them things in exchange for furs and pelts and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that kind of became just the lore around Bigfoot, is that the red-eyed ones were the ones that you don't mess with. And they would even say, they would tell them, these golden-eyed or brown-eyed ones would go to the locals and the natives and say, if you see the ones with the red eyes, do not tract with them. They will hurt you. They are man-eaters.
Well, you better hope they don't blink, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So
I want to put that as a piece of advice. I just need for our Bigfoot travelers to let me know if they can add this as a piece of advice in any sort of Bigfoot or cryptid hunting books, that what you should do is, if there is a red eye shine, they'll probably eat you. If there is an gold eye shine, they'll probably trade and have tea. Please and thank you.
But that doesn't give you a lot of time to run away if you're like, oh, let me see what color your eyes are before I dart out of here.
I would bring Visine and just hand it to them and just say, here, have you tried this? It's kind of like, have you had your Snickers? Because you're not yourself when you haven't had your Snickers. It's just the same thing.
So true. So true.
If it takes your arm off, it's a red-eyed one.
There you go. And it's a Wookiee that you beat at chess.
Gotta let the Wookiee win.
Yep. So anyway, now we're going to go to the Susquehanna River. Now, whenever I say Susquehanna, I always think of the Abbott and Costello Susquehanna Hat Company. If you haven't heard that skit, look it up. You'll thank me later. But the Susquehanna River has a lot of different legends around it. But most famously, we're going to go back to our favorite newspaper here, the Daily Democrat.
Okay.
And in 1897, John F. McGinnis, he wrote an article that he said, nobody saw enough of this creature to provide a physical description. His kind, this is the quote, his kind, that was a puzzle. He was not the form or image of anything on earth. Some claimed by his roar that he was a sea lion. Some that he was a monster cuttlefish. Again, some thought he might possibly be an only survivor of some thought to be an extinct order of sea or river monster. So he's saying it might be a dinosaur. It might be this. It might be that. All right. Now, this mysterious thing has been seen and reported by fishermen near Kettle Creek. It's been reported up and down. It swims a very long distance all the way to Lewisburg. And so, again, what are you going to call a monster from Susquehanna? Give me a guess.
I want to call it Sussy, but that is not what it's called. But I want to call it Sussy.
Beau?
I would call it Sussy too. That sounds like a great name.
This is the Susquehanna seal.
I hate that.
Renaming it. Another one that when we do this area, when we do our travel book, this area, Mark, make notes. We are renaming all of these.
Sussy.
The latest theory on that one is that it's a duogong.
What the hell is that?
It's basically similar to our manatees.
They're like bigger manatees, mammal. Right?
Yeah, but they're a marine mammal, but not exactly known for this area because they live in Australia.
I think they may be I'm gonna throw it out here. I know it's wild and crazy. I think they could be wrong.
I think they're wrong there. Yeah.
It's possible.
What if someone got one as a pet and shipped it over from Australia and then they let it out? That happens around here a lot. People buy tigers and stuff.
Hey,
maybe a dugong.
Like I said, we've got tons of crazy stories. I've got the one after the break. You guys are gonna. We hinted at it when we talked to Cryptids of the Corn, so I've decided since these things are seen in this area, I have to bring it up, but that's coming after the break. But all right, now here's another one. Okay. Now this is another kind of nondescript one, but again, dumb name. This is in Potter County. And so this was in the Potter Enterprise newspaper, also in the spring of 1897. So 1897 is our key for Pennsylvania cryptids, right?
Okay.
All right, so this is a hairy bipedal creature about 6 foot tall and said to have tusks that measure 6 or 7 inches long. Now, here's the article. It is reported that a fisherman was run out of Nelson Run by some kind of animal. This is on April 12th, 1897. The animal stood up on its hind feet and struck its breast with its forepaws, causing a noise like a roll of many drums. And then it screamed like a panther. Resident William Butler came forward with the information. Though under the circumstances, his eyes might have magnified a little, he thinks the animal was fully 6 feet high when standing on its hind legs. It was quite hairy about the head and had tusks of 6 or 7 inches long, which the animal seemed proud to show. And another such mouth had never been seen before. I love that quote. What are you going to call it, Erika?
Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Is that not correct? Because that seems correct to me.
Predates the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a little bit, but that's a better name than this.
Okay, Beau.
You said it's Potter County, right?
Potter County.
The Potter County Boar Man.
Oh, see, I like that. I like that a lot. You got 2 words right.
I'm just going to say that me and Beau maybe should be.
Was it Potter County? Those the 2 words that are right?
The first 2 words, yes.
Oh, God.
The article calls it. This is how it names it. Bill looked at the Potter County nondescript fully for a minute or more.
What?
They
The
didn't
Potter
even try.
County nondescript. That's the name of the cryptid.
If they only have a nondescript name, like nondescript, it's probably not worth an article about it. Did he have a deadline? He was like, "Oh shit, I gotta put out an article."
I think that's to be changed later. Is what it might as well have been called, right?
Wow.
The Potter County TBD.
If only he had find replace back in 1897. That's probably what he was doing. Yeah. We've all done that. We've all put keywords in our manuscripts that we're going to replace later. And then we
insert name here.
Here. Yes, exactly. I mean, I've seen scripts that I've read where the main character's name changed 4 times because they forgot to change it on the previous times they typed it. So.
Wow.
All right. So now, we've got the usual suspects in the area a little bit. The Susquehanna seal also did have another name a little bit later, and it's kind of taken off a little bit better, and that's the Kettle Creek monster. So at least it's got a little bit better.
No.
I like Sussy.
I think we're back to Sussy. Mark, I'm just letting you know, as we do these travel books, we may be travelers out there. I'm sorry, we may have to rename things so that they're not dumb.
I think we definitely have to rename the Guy Woggle, right? So.
Oh, the Guy Woggle. I'm never even going to remember that because that is the dumbest name in the world.
I immediately forgot it as soon as you said it because it was bad.
All right.
And all 3 of us are authors. We write for a living when we're not being amazing travelers. And I can just say, fail. They get an L.
All right.
Fail.
So far, most of these have been just not, things that just appeared, disappeared. One beat on its chest a little bit. So, sounded very gorilla-like to me. Now, this one is we're hitting some familiar territory with this guy. And again, he kind of has a good name, but kind of doesn't. So this is in the area of Waterford, Pennsylvania. And he was in the 1970s. So he's not that 1897. Now, the sightings of him include him ravaging livestock and chasing people, almost as though he's going to eat them. Is a humanoid creature covered in fur, large horns adorning its head, and hooves where feet should be. That's kind of a theme here. Now, this was supposed to live in the rafters of Waterford's covered bridge. But in 2011, the bridge was closed due to deterioration. And the sightings of this were big in the 70s and 80s. But some people say it still lives in that area. So horns, furry, hooves, humanoid. Sounds a little familiar to some of these other things we've seen, right?
And also sounds like some dates I've had in the past.
It sounds a lot like my friend the sheep squatch. A little
right, sheep squatch or Poplick. A little bit like Poplick, but Poplick doesn't have as much fur. But yeah, so sheep squatch is definitely what this is in the category of. So the name is not far off from that.
Okay, so I'm going to guess it has squatch in it. No, it has sheep in it?
Yes.
Oh, I already want a hard pass on this. I'm hard
pretty
pass.
much on the nose. It is the Waterford sheep man.
What in the?
That doesn't sound very scary for
It is
someone who tries to eat man.
A fearsome creature, yeah, I'd like it to be a little scarier than the sheep man.
And it also now makes me wonder, when it ravages sheep, does it mean in an eating way or in a sexy way?
In an eating way, later described. But yes, in that original article, it says ravaged livestock. And I'm like, I think I've read too many Honey Cummings books. So, but next on the list. Okay. This one is very similar to a creature around these areas of the Smoky Mountains. Something that's not supposed to be there anymore. Might have been there at one point, but seems to be back. It is a large black creature that's on 4 legs, not 2. This time a quadruped, and it wanders around making strange howls, has yellow eyes, and very, very, very black fur, a long curved tail, and is also described as very panther-like. So
I was gonna call it something panther.
Right. So yeah, exactly, right? That's you're close there. Now, us down here, we've had the catamount, we've got the wampus cat. I like what some people call them, the ABCs, the alien big cats. They shouldn't be here anymore. But they're still here. Some people even took that name, ABC, alien big cats, and actually started drawing like a third eye on them in their description.
Oh, wow.
So, but that's more of a creepypasta, expansion of the alien big cat, because they wanted to make them more alien. Now, the one thing about this one, though, is that sometimes it is said to have an extra pair of legs, which is very similar to our wampus cat legend, where it has the 6 legs, right?
Are we guessing the name of this one before we go to
the name again? Yep.
You know what
Pennsylvania.
I think we should take our break and let us think about it. And when we come back, we'll have epic names.
All right. Sounds good.
Destiny Beard, the lyrical soprano who will haunt your dreams. With her alluring melodies and intricate harmonies, this dark siren of wistful song shall capture your soul and lead you into the night. Check out Destiny's new single, The Haunting Is Over, with international musicians Sam Haines and Gary Bennett, as well as her other musical works at destinybeard.com.
Most know Florida as the land of endless sunny beaches, but the state is home to numerous eerie legends and mysterious creatures. The Everglades is home to the elusive skunk ape. In Key West lies an uncanny doll reputed to have a life of its own. Join Mark Muncy and illustrator Carrie Schultz as they uncover the history behind the state's creepiest stories and unusual locations. The Dark Side of the Sunshine State, presented in Eerie, Florida, from History Press.
We're back. Okay.
Big black cat roaming the woods of Pennsylvania, sometimes in the mountains.
I would call it the darkness of death.
Like
That's a really cool name. It's so we know it's not that.
Yeah, we know
No,
it's
too good.
we already know that none of the cool names we're coming up with are going to be these things.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't even, I mean, it doesn't even make Wampus Cat. Wampus Cat's good enough for this, I think, but no.
no. Okay, Beau,
Beau?
your thoughts?
Well, if it's probably a stupid name, I assume it'd be like Appalachian Kitty Cat or something.
Well, you remember you mentioned Panther earlier, right? You
The
said
Appalachian Panther.
that? Okay, close. It's just simply called the Ghost Panther.
But it's not a ghost.
Exactly. No reports of it anywhere says it disappears or can do anything supernatural. It's except for the maybe having extra legs at some point. I think this fits right in with our Wampus Cat and even my bench leg. It's just something strange that shouldn't be there. I believe it is that simple. Back to Lake Monster.
Okay, I have a question on the six-legged thing. I had this thought the other day.
Mm.
And I was wondering, do you think because of shadowing and how it moves, cats move, right? It could appear to have six legs if the way it's moving because of shadows. I mean, because it seems like to me, all these things, Wampus Cat, blah, 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 whether it's a catamount, whether it's a panther, whether it's we're used to things having a certain coloration, but things come out in the wild weird all the time. You can have weird versions of animals, and I'm just wondering if they're seeing a weird version of or even a panther or something like that, which we are even seeing now on trail cams, right?
Yep.
So it's weird. It's just bizarre to me.
Yeah.
That they say six legs, but I'm wondering if it's just like normal things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just, again, I think
or they're mistaking the tail for a leg and then are like, that would be weird. So it must have 6 instead of 5.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's just they move so fast. It's sometimes you see that. And especially if they were trying to get pictures back in the day or anything like that, something moving would be blurry and it would look like that. So maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's weird. Weird.
But we've heard Wampus Cats have 6 legs. We've heard that story before as we've traveled Appalachia here looking for more tails. But all right, so this one, we all know the Loch Ness Monster. We all know Nessie and all that. So this one is in Raystown Lake. Raystown Lake is about 30 miles long, and it gets about 2 million visitors each year. So it's very, very popular.
Yeah.
And it hits about 200 feet at its deepest point, according to studies.
Okay.
In 2006, this legend got a lot of traction because there were pictures of something unusual and something substantial in the water. The size of the lake may be why we only have one photo, right? It's like Loch Ness. It's huge. The lake itself, though, wasn't built until the 1970s when they built the Raystown Dam. And the dam was built in 1905. So this can't be like a Nessie creature, but it looks like a Nessie creature from every shot, the shot of it and everything else. It's got the long neck, big head, and slithering back. So could be a giant snake, could be a sturgeon, could be a lot of things. Okay, you've got a creature, Raystown Lake, or Huntington County. What would you call it?
It's a water creature.
That's a water creature.
The Lake Hunter of Huntington County.
Okay, like that.
Not my best, but
Beau?
I feel like it's not gonna have a like descriptive name, so I'm gonna go with the Raystown Monster or the Raystown Dam Monster.
So close. Raystown Ray.
I was trying to find alliteration, but I couldn't find it. I didn't know they had named it.
They just named it Ray. Yes, it doesn't. Not anything to do with devil rays or stingrays or manta rays or anything like that. If anything, it's more of an eel or possibly some sort of sea serpent. But
Well, maybe his full name is Raymond. We don't know.
it could be Raysel Raymond. Yes, but supposed to be very gentle and supposed to be a herbivore. Has been spotted a few times by visitors to the lake, but that one photo is from 2006 is the reason we even talk about him.
But it never originated in the lake, right? Because you said that they built
it wasn't
a dam.
built until 1905, so I guess
Maybe
if anything,
maybe it's can walk on land. Maybe it's like a little salamander.
there
that
have
kind
been
of like
some floods that have fed into it, and so some people are thinking maybe it swam upstream and then got stuck when the flood waters receded, stuff like that. So that seems to be the pervading theory.
Poor Raymond.
Yeah, everybody loves Raymond.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we got one more that you guys know by another name down here. Imagine a shorter Bigfoot, right? We've discussed these before.
Are we talking about? Okay, I'll wait for you to tell me to guess.
That's right.
I know.
This is in Columbia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It's about 4 foot and very hairy and lives in heavily wooded areas. In West Virginia, they kind of call it the apple devil or the apple snitch because it really likes fruit. So it's often seen climbing into apple trees and stealing the fruit, and supposedly steals them from picnickers, farmers, and sometimes even throws the cores back at people. And it's been spotted in not only in Columbia County, but Lancaster County, North Anvil, York County, and it's kind of celebrated in Pennsylvania almost as much as the squonk. They do have a day for it at the Columbia Crossing Trail Center in Lancaster County. We're going to have to see if we can get in there for that one.
Okay.
All right. So Columbia County, apple stealing, small furry creature. Now, we've heard it called the devil monkey. Down in Florida, they call them the stump jumpers. Up in Maryland, they could be related to the puckwudgies and stuff like that. Almost fey-like the way these things move. They're so fast, but people see them, but they're basically, they look like Bigfoot, right? But small. Give me a name, Erika. What do you think?
Well, you know what else these kind of remind me of a little bit, and I realize they're furry, but they kind of remind me a little bit of the gnomes of Bach Tower. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Very similar, but those are even smaller. Those are about 2 foot tall. So
I know, but I'm just saying it's, kind of similar. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was going to say stump jumpers because that's what this reminded me of.
That's
but
very similar. They steal apples.
Steal apple. I think they should be called furry Johnny Appleseeds.
All right, Beau, you got a guess?
All right, so I had a lot of thoughts while you were reading that. They're small and hairy. For some reason, I started thinking of Marvel's Wolverine because he is small and hairy.
He is.
And then I started thinking about Danny DeVito because he's also small and hairy. And then you kept focusing on apples.
Yeah.
So I feel like his name is like the apple gobbling Bigfoot.
All right. I like that.
Littlefoot.
I like that. If you're gonna go Danny DeVito, what would you go?
the DeVito monster.
The DeVito monster, or the Wolvervito.
The Wolvervito. Perfect. We're renaming.
That may be what we call him in our book version of this. So
nobody said
no. It kind of goes from the name Apple Snitch, right? But they bastardized the name because that's what we do. As English speakers, we have to change them for the legends. So it is called the Albatwitch.
I'm going to pretend like you didn't say that because that's just offending me now.
That's almost as bad as the Guy Woggle, right?
It doesn't make sense.
That's actually worse than the Guy Woggle to me.
Yeah.
It is. I don't even know how you can be worse than the sham Guy Woggle. It's worse to me than Guy Woggle.
Yeah. The Albatwitch Day takes place at the Columbia Crossing Trail Center. So we will be looking into that for future travels. So
I don't know. We should put in a petition to have its name changed to Wolvervito.
Wolvervito.
We are changing all these names in our book. Just, it's rare I say that because most things have pretty cool epic names, but I feel like more than half of these need an update.
Yep. Yep. So, all right. Now, up next, we've got to go to our titular monster, right? We've got to talk a little bit about this guy because we're going to his festival. So it's time to turn that frown upside down, right? So,
I think it's the opposite. We have to put on our frowns.
yes.
That'd be
So,
sad.
yeah. So the squonk is said to live in the northern hemlock forests of Pennsylvania, sometimes in the Appalachian Hills, and his eyes are always filled with tears due to its hideous appearance. I don't know any monster that hates themselves so much.
He's
That's
cute.
like,
I don't.
nice.
He needs like I don't know. Maybe a makeover. Put him in a nice outfit because he is adorable. He's like a little pig man.
Yep.
Okay,
So
I just want to throw this out here again because if I recall correctly, nobody's actually seen this thing. They're just assuming what it looks like, right?
okay. Do you know where this comes from?
I have a little, but I want you to tell the story because
the story comes from our person we've mentioned way back when we were discussing the Hodag. This is William T. Cox, who wrote the book Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods. And he talked about the Hodag, and he talked about that weird bird that lays the square eggs so they don't roll downhill. He talked about all the fun monsters, right? Well, he writes about the squonk. And according to him, the squonk had ill-fitting skin that was covered in warts and moles and was always unhappy. And if you want to hunt the creature, you go following the trail of tears that the creature leaves behind. In his book, he describes one man actually catches the squonk and decides to bring it home, and he puts it in a sack on its back, and he hears it crying constantly. And as he's walking, his sack gets lighter and lighter and lighter until all that's in his sack is a puddle of water. So it cried itself into disintegration, I guess.
Which seems like kind of a cool skill to have, right?
I mean, as long as he can bring himself back. Like, if he just turns into a puddle and that's it, that's not a cool power. But if he can then reincorporate himself to be a squonk, then it's fine.
Have you ever picked up the Genesis album Trick of a Tale?
No.
No? Okay. There's a song on it called Squonk.
Oh.
And it is inspired by this.
Interesting.
I don't know if we could get Destiny to do a cover of that.
That would be kind of badass if she would. We'll have to reach out to her.
I'll have to reach out to her about that. Yeah, listeners, if one of you wants to commission her for it,
Absolutely. Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this thing is so sad it cries itself away and turns into a puddle of goo. No one's ever caught one. And a lot of people say they've never seen one. Imagine that. But they hear the crying in the woods, and they hear the phantom yelping, and they hear the phantom sadness. So that's how they go hunting the squonk.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. That's the squonk in all its glory. Now, we do have one more big monster to talk, and that's Lake Erie. We've mentioned this monster before, South Bay Bessie. That's the big beast out there. I think she's got a good name, South Bay Bessie, and she's seen in Lake Erie, and it's a giant sea serpent. I think this is a Mishipishu sighting because supposedly scaled and heavy-headed and possibly horns, but it was seen breaking through the ice to drown a fisherman, an ice fisherman at one point. This thing's supposed to be 20, 30 feet long, giant creature. Again, Lake Erie, there's a ton of monsters on Lake Erie. We'll go into them another day. But I figure South Bay Bessie had to be mentioned because she's seen on Pennsylvania coast of Lake Erie, which isn't much, but it's there. With all that, we've got one last monster I have to talk about in Pennsylvania. That is one I put in Erie, Appalachia. And that was sent to me by a family from West Chase, Pennsylvania. They were a family that did moonshine. And
I love this family. They're one of my favorites. Yes.
I think we've said this story before, but I'm just
we
going to
have talked about it, but it bears repeating.
So
also,
I don't. Yeah.
Our shameless plug that if you want to read a lot of these stories, you can always, which is included in the show notes, purchase Eerie Appalachia.
Yeah.
And if you're coming to Squonk, you can come buy it from us and get signatures.
Get us a signed copy. Yep.
Yeah.
Or they can listen to the audiobook on the way to Squonk.
Yes.
Yes.
And get the story. This was the family. They were having some hard times. They decided to spice up the moonshine. And so the budding young chemist of the family decided to go to Granny's book of recipes and see what he could find to kick it up a notch, and found some interesting ingredients, tried it, and it was a huge hit. Everybody was very happy with the extra additive to this, the unnamed additive to the moonshine, and they called it Granny's Brew. And Granny was an Appalachian witch, so she did a little more than just what you think, putting extra stuff in the shine. And when the whole family gathered to try this batch, that's when they started noticing odd things. There was movement out of the corners of their eyes, and there's things darting from shadow to shadow, very strange things. And they were thought immediately, oh, rats. We've got rats getting into the grain and some of the other supplies. And moonshine and guns involved make an interesting story. So they immediately start trying to catch the things and kill the things. And finally, one of the cousins grabs it and said it looked exactly like the head of Venom from the comic books, just all teeth and covered in oil and like a giant ball. And they had it in a sack. And when he tried to grab it from the sack, it almost took his hand off. Ambulance was called. Lots of arrests were made for the illegal shine. And he just kept screaming, "It bites, it bites," as he went away. Now, the young chemist, however, is in a mental health facility to this day, and he refuses to sleep and he is terrified of the dark, because he's convinced that this was not just something that they were imagining, because, hey, it almost took one guy's hand off, that these things are actually there in the shadows all the time, but that drink made it so that we could perceive them, and so that these things are there, and they're always there, and that's a terrifying thing. And then and supposedly whenever the lights are out, he screams, "It bites, and won't go to sleep."
I do not love any of that.
Yeah,
I don't love any of that.
And the family, when I was writing the book, they wrote me the story, and then I typed it up. And then as I was going to press, they said, "Oh, we've been shut down again. The feds have raided us and we're out." And I was like, "Oh," but by the time I was done with the editing, they sent me another email. "We're back." So I've kept in touch with them over the years. So we may be stopping by there on the way up, Erika.
I do not mind at all, but I'm going to have to ask them how they made that particular batch, because
I think as long as they leave the lights on, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I feel terrible for this person, because I think a lot of people don't realize that not everyone does well with hallucinogenics of certain kinds and trauma. You mix things like that and trauma. I am not saying any of that's bad. I'm just saying that some people can have the wrong combination of things, right?
Yep. And I think some of this is legit scary. I think that when I read that stuff, I'm like, holy cow, it would explain a lot of those things you just see out of the corner of your eye, the things darting from shadow to shadow. So, the Doctor Who fan in me, there's a monster called the Vashta that's a thing that lives in shadows, and oh god, it's a terrifying episode. So I think maybe the writers that might know something.
I would concur with that assessment, but I will say this little piece of advice though: if you drink or imbibe any sort of thing that may alter your perception, and then suddenly you see things like rats and stuff, it's not rats.
Yeah.
Just clarify. If you suddenly see something, that is not what's happening there at all.
Yeah. I love one of our favorite shows is Evil on Paramount Plus, I think. And one of the guys there is a scientist, and he's studying. As he's the skeptic, and some weird things start happening to him, and he's trying desperately to figure out. Okay, it's in my peripheral, and so he's doing like all these experiments to figure out how to stop it. And that's a great storyline, and I'm like, man, yeah, somebody knows something there. So
it's true, because you really want to go, well, this isn't a real thing. This is A, B, C, D. And sometimes it is, because sometimes the answer is, it is that scary as shit thing that you're hoping it's not.
Yep. Now, the last creature we do mention here is, even though it's a little further away, but that's we've got Bunny Man Bridge, which is in this area. It's not really a creature, but a man in a bunny costume attacked a few people near this train trestle bridge. Not at all like Popelik Bridge, where it's way over a thing. It's actually over a small road, but it's one of those. Hey, it's a fun piece of history that's turned into a crazy urban legend. The fact that it's got real police reports and real stuff to it is crazy. The stories around it are amazing, but that's for another time, gang. Another time.
It's true. I think Beau already assisted us a little bit with Bunny Man Bridge at one point.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's like episode 14 or it's in the early episodes. Yeah.
Way back we talked about him, and then we've also talked about Thunderbirds. They're all over this area, over the histories, particularly Susquehanna. People always say, it wasn't an eagle. I've seen eagles. This is bigger than an eagle. That's like I know it sounds crazy, but that's anytime somebody talks about a Thunderbird, that's what they tell me that. And the most famous one of this was in Lock Haven. That was where it was seen by several people. So anyway, when you're going through Pennsylvania, bring your binoculars, bring a camera, definitely, bring an apple or two.
Yes,
you might see more than you bargained for. Now we're going to be talking some lesser known holler monsters up there. We'll mention these guys in passing because we kind of have to. And we'll of course talk some Dogman up there, because there is a lot of Dogman sightings in that area too. So which one do you think had the dumbest name?
I just have an exasperated sigh for all of them, is where I'm at this point in time, because I think the one that was not described I think Beau is very similar to me. We've immediately blanked these out. We're like, this is dumb.
Yeah, if you'd asked me what monsters you've told us about, I would be like, the Quaggle. I don't know what its name was. The nondescript is the only name I remember because it was the dumbest.
Yeah,
but if you asked me to name every one of them, nothing.
It's gone. Empty. It's already blank. Yeah, the Potter County nondescript wins the dumbest name. Yeah,
because you didn't even put in effort. I mean, the other ones are really dumb, but if you're not even going to put in the effort to come up with a dumb name, that wins.
I like Beau's name for the guy woggle, calling it the Quaggle. I think
Quaggle.
That's better. Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. All right, and then Raystown Ray, Susquehanna Seal.
It's Raystown Raymond now.
Yeah, Raystown Raymond. The Susquehanna Seal. I almost want to call it the Susquehanna Sally or something. Just give it a name too.
And it doesn't seem very seal-like either. It seems vaguely seal-like, but not enough to call it the seal.
Yeah, the seal, the Susquehanna Seal. And then the Albatwitch, and then
I hate that one.
There's just come on, guys. Pennsylvania, get your act together. We're on our way there. We're gonna help. We're gonna get you some better names. You're not quite. You're Appalachian adjacent. You do have Appalachian part of your state, so you are Appalachian. So you can do better. We believe in you. But then my people have the bench legs, so
well, it's not as bad as Pinky and Skunk Ape, but. Travelers out there, a word of advice before Mark rounds out this episode. We'll include some links. We'll include some links of where you can travel to go see some of these things, including like Bunny Man Bridge and all that stuff. Just be very careful when you're out there, as per usual. Yep. But travelers, if you suddenly have a cryptid and you don't know the name or want help with the name, reach out, because we are more than willing to give some options that don't make you sound like a complete idiot. Yeah. So with that said, Mark, take us away.
Well, gang, thank you again so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. I enjoyed looking at these silly monsters' names, but there's some real stories there. That's the thing. There's pictures of these. There's descriptions of these. These are encounters. We giggle, we laugh because they were given dumb names, but the reporting on these was common. It was real then. And sadly, because they got goofy names and were given goofy things, they weren't treated seriously. And I think some of these things should have been. The ghost phantoms, it'd be amazing. The alien big cats, it would be incredible to find out these things are real, to find out that they're here, even though we thought we extincted them. The nondescript, yeah, that needs some work. But all that said, do report anything you see. Feel free to drop us a line at eerietravels.com. Hit the contact us. We'll take it. We do have some listener tales episodes coming up and a listener questions episode coming up. So anything you're curious about, we've got you. We'll take care of it. Thanks again to our sponsors for keeping us going. And thank you to our patrons to keeping us on the radio and on the channels and all the things. I'm old. Forgive me. But anyway, all that said, when you're on the road to Squonk Fest, listen for the sad cries of the squonk. Don't go chasing him, because he might just turn into a puddle of goo. And we'll see you on the other side.